This is my second Kerstin Hall novella, and man, she just writes some weird stuff. Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about Border Keeper by Kerstin Hall. And this is technically book 1 in the Mkalis Cycle, which I read technically book 2, Second Spear, a couple of years ago, I think. Actually, when it was new, I'd gotten an e-arc of it. It was one from Tor, and I'm like, oh, I'll check this out. And you can read them. They're kind of standalone. Both of them are novellas, and they're kind of standalone at work. But I remember reading it and just like, it was so odd and different, and it's kind of by design. And in that one, we're following a character who's also in the first one, who is the second spear, so like second command under a demon ruler of one of the levels. And you're just kind of seeing all these odd things. You're just sort of thrown in. And so you think maybe going back and reading the first one would like, oh, are things clearer? No, they absolutely are not. And that's what I enjoyed this, but it's what I will say right off the bat is this book, The Border Keeper, and the other one, Second Spear, both of them, they're not the kind of books, if you're a person who really, really likes to have things explained, they're not really going to work for you because there's a lot of things left unexplained and that just kind of are what they are. And it's kind of just weird atmospheric type of writing that is just more something you experience. So the comp I would make here, and it's quite different, but just what it reminds me of as far as kind of the weird content, the unexplained, is Jeff Vandermeer. The Area X or Southern Reach, whatever you want to call it, those books where a lot of things aren't explained, you just kind of go, things are weird. That's sort of in some ways the same vibe, although the style is really different. So I think if you like those, this might be a fantasy one to check out. They're pretty short and just kind of going, but they are definitely strange. This one takes place, the main character Vaseth is coming from Ari, which is like the normal world, and he's trying to cross into Mkalis to find someone. And there's not a ton of details given right off the bat, so he goes to the Border Keeper, who is the person who is in charge of keeping the shadow line between worlds. And things are much more complicated, and there's a lot going on. And again, you're just sort of thrown in, and you're just experiencing it. There's not a lot of explanation. And I think this is the kind of book you sort of have to be in the mood for, but I knew a little bit of what to expect because of the fact that I'd read Second Spear. And honestly, the biggest thing that this one left me with is it makes me really want to go back and read Second Spear again now that I've seen this, just because, like I said, there are some repeat characters here. And so while I was able to, get as much as I was going to get out of the second one on the first one, I didn't have an issue not reading this. Now that I have read this, I'm kind of like, well, now I want to go back. And ultimately, even though this isn't something that I loved or anything, I feel like that's kind of the hallmark. If a book leaves you wanting more, wanting to go back and, read another part of it, in this case, read it again, that's something I have to say that's a positive thing. And it's just the sort of strange atmospheric bit of this is just really, really interesting for the way it sets the tone. And you're exploring this world. There are demon rulers. There are other like gods. There's been lots of, there's factions and things here or there. We know at some point there was the demonic wars. There's these things called the ageless. There's just all of these things. And there's this depth in there, and you're following a character that doesn't really, in both cases, that doesn't really know a lot of the big picture. And so that's the POV you get. You only get what they know, and not even always what they know, because this isn't a book two where you're really getting like the inner motivations. You are just seeing what actually happens as if you're an observer, so you don't get a lot of that extra depth. And it's interesting because I'm a reader that I like that extra bit. Like my bread and butter was always Wheel of Time with a third person omniscient, where you're in everybody's heads, you're getting all of this, and I like that. I like the extra world building. I love digging in, and so this is something where it's much more understated in as far as like knowing why people are doing what they're doing. But it's just letting you just kind of explore with the world that you're in, and just kind of think about things yourself or picture it. And the descriptions are really, really good. Like it's a very, very just colorful and vivid in the way that you experience the world. And so that's kind of what you get here. And it's not quite my normal thing, but at the same time, I've enjoyed both of these. And like I said, I do think I'm going to have to go read Second Spear again. I might still have the ebook for it. I probably do. But like, I'm really curious now to go back and read it again after reading this. And so, yeah, I'd be really curious if anybody's read this or that. I did get, not that long ago, I got a full-length novel from this author as well, which I'm very curious to see how that's going to go, just because the novellas I've read have been odd but engaging. So I'm really curious to see how does that translate to a full length. And it's not in the same world, I don't think, or it could be, I guess. I actually don't know. I can't say that definitively, but I don't know. It's a full-length novel, and I'm curious to try. But yeah, I'd be curious if anybody else has read this author. I don't think they're super well-known or talked about a ton, although I've heard a few people here and there, like Esme mentioned, reading one of the other books. But so I'm really curious on that. And let me know your thoughts as well. And are you somebody who likes the sort of just more atmospheric writing? Do you like to be super detailed in there? Does it vary? I'd be curious as well, because I usually am much more on the other side, but in this case, I found myself really enjoying it. Really, those are my thoughts on Border Keeper by Kerstin Hall. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to give the video a like, as always, if you enjoyed it. Check the links in the description, as always, for the Patreon, if you want to support what I do, as well as the Wizard of the Enclave Discord, if you want to chat books, whether this book, other books, really anything at all. It's a lot of fun, and we'd love to have you. And, of course, if you enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe.